Today I want to just make a short video. If you know me, you know that that is sort of an oxymoron. And it's about making a deal with the devil. This term is quite common, and I'm not going to get into really the technical parts of my belief system when it comes to dealing with the devil. But what I want to make everyone aware of is that it's a lot easier to do than you think. And the reality of it is, in order to deal with the devil, all you have to do is act against your own belief system, your own integrity, or act against yourself. When you speak ill of yourself, to others, you are dealing with the devil. That is the fear, that is the negativity, not the darkness, because darkness is part of the human experience and is part of the yin yang balance. But it is when you break your own word, when you pretend you don't know better, when you do, and you do something that acts against your own lessons, your own belief system, your own integrity, that is dealing with the devil. In that, it means that you can take somebody else, they can do the same thing you do, and they are not dealing with the devil because they don't know better. This is their journey, this is their life, and this is their opportunity to be taught and guided by the universe that what they've done is dealing with the devil or making a deal with the devil. And you make a deal with the devil when you are willing to get ahead at any cost, at any price, and you'll pay anything. Now, there are literally, rituals and things like that where people, they sell their soul or, these kind of things. And that's real, is real. But you can actually sell your soul without a ritual. The ritual is the word. The ritual is the action. When you act against yourself or your beliefs or the lessons you've personally learned or the belief system that you've adopted, that you label yourself as this religion or as this type of person, and you knowingly do things that are not in line with that belief system, you have made a deal with the devil. You've made a deal with the devil to satisfy your flesh and yourself in this moment instead of face the fire, suffer a little bit, or stand back and watch somebody do something you know is wrong and just not participate. When you choose in the moment to have what you want right now, instead of your salvation later, the way you believe salvation will come, or instead of doing something the hard way, or instead of earning something the hard way, or learning the hard lesson, when you choose to satisfy the flesh in the moment, you have made a deal with the devil. It's not irrevocable necessarily, but it is dealing with the devil. And it is so much easier than people realize, and people do it all the time. They use their word against others. They say things that they know are hurtful, that they know are cruel, that they know are going to cause destruction. They, lie, cheat, steal from others, from friends, from family. They take what is not theirs in order to satisfy their own ego, their own fear, their own need. I had a situation, I used to work for a really big corporation, and I was very successful there. I loved my work. I loved the people I worked with, and I loved what I was well known for, which was being loving toward the teams, toward the people, the individuals, and not when they were successful in the business, but because they were human beings. And I had my immediate supervisor. So my boss, his life ended, which was devastating to me. And the next person in line didn't know how to do their job. And in order to stay in their job, they needed me to do part of their job. So in order to do that, they gave me their passwords so that I could log into our corporate system and I could do reviews for the staff, because this person lied in the first place to get that position. They lied and said somebody had SA'd them, which was not true. And then the company, in order to protect itself from that person's connections, gave them a job at the place where I worked. And then, because this person was incapable of doing the most basic part of their job, they told me, I need you to do this for whatever reason. And I just did it because that's my boss. After I did it, that person went to the HR department of our company, told them that I stole their passwords, that I logged into the system, and that I took all of those actions undirected by them, which I had evidence that I had been directed to do that by them. Of course, text messages, because at least they were smart enough not to send it through the company email. The HR department knew that it was impossible for me to do what I had been accused of. And so they didn't tell me at the time, and they didn't do an investigation because they knew better. And that person who had lied on me realized that they weren't investigating, and so they realized that they were found out, and they quit. The whole time pretending to be my friend, manipulating me, lying to me. And a few months after they were gone, the head of HR came to where I was working, brought my file to me, and showed me the handwritten information that this person had given them, stating that I had stolen their passwords. Now, I'm so grateful that it didn't work, but I'm using this as an example because I've healed from that now. But I'm using this as an example of how you can make a deal with the devil in order to satisfy your own selfish needs and satisfy your flesh. That fear makes people act out of character. I mean, this wasn't out of character for this person. This was a nasty, nasty individual. But it's so much easier to make a deal with the devil than you think. And although it didn't end up blowing up in my face much, it still had a really negative impact on my career. And it, to this day, has affected me because it changed the way I made decisions, positively or negatively. Now, this person will be paying for that action for the rest of their life because they acted against me with the intent of destroying me to protect themselves. So it wasn't a small act. It wasn't a little thing. It was a major deal with the devil. And they didn't get what they wanted out of it. But because there will be no absolution for them, because you cannot have absolution and forgiveness without admitting what you've done, without an apology, without clearing the air, and without giving the truth to the person that you've acted against. That's why making the deal with the devil, acting against another person, is the only sin. It's the only thing that's haram. It's the only thing that creates bad karma, is when you use your words, your actions, or your intentions to hurt, maim, destroy, destruct, do anything negative to another person. Now, if they serve that to you and you're a mirror and serve it right back, that's a defense, that's protection, and that's you using the yang to create balance in your life and protect your boundaries. But when you're the initiator of the negative, of the destruction, when you've chosen to fabricate and use your word, your power of creation, that's a different video, to destroy someone else, right? No, that's this video. No, it's not. It's a different video. It's the video about your words and how you talk to yourself. When you're the initiator of that, when you do that, you have done that with intention. And you've done it out of fear, but that's not an excuse. You chose to live in fear. You chose to act against another. You chose to try to destroy them. Not even in this case to protect yourself, because the company would have never found out that I had done it for this person, except for that person told on themselves. So it already blew up in their face. But without coming to the person that you violated and seeking absolution. And I'll tell you, the minister, the priest cannot give you absolution when you've acted against another person. Without the truth, without the person you've acted against knowing the truth, you cannot have absolution. If you're lucky, that person will be an ascended being, and they will forgive you, they will let it go, they will not carry anger or resentment, and you won't have to keep paying a price. But as long as you hold the truth and you hold it back and you put up another wall and another wall and another wall, and you keep lying to yourself even that it didn't happen, that you didn't do that, that you're not an evil, disgusting human being, you are just digging a bigger hole and a deeper hole and a wider hole, and to the point that you cannot get out of that. And if you're really unlucky, what will happen is, there's a saying that God will let somebody mess with you just so he can them. And what can happen is that that person that you've violated and acted against becomes so far removed from your frequency, from your reality, you will lose the ability to even contact them to make it right, to gain absolution, to gain forgiveness. We are directly connected to the creator of all things. We are part of God. And when you do that, you have not only made a deal with the devil, you have acted against God, the creator of all things. You have acted against yourself, because we are directly connected to each other. And especially when somebody has only ever made you look good, and you've hurt them and then continue to deceive them to their face and lie to them, you have created a debt so deep that you probably cannot pay that karma in this lifetime. Because again, your ability to be forgiven exists in you sharing the truth with the person you violated, apologizing, and that person can stay mad at you. But the moment you have admitted it, the moment you have sought absolution, you are forgiven. In the big picture, you might still have karma to pay, but it won't keep gaining interest. But when they've been removed so much from your reality, God, the creator of all things, has put you in a situation, allowed you to put yourself in a situation which was already divinely woven that you were going to be that way, that you cannot be forgiven, that you cannot get absolution yourself. Now, if the person you violated, in my situation, me, knows what you've done, they can forgive you for themselves, but that does not erase the slate for you. So I encourage any of you that see this, if there is somebody that you've committed a major violation against, partner, friend, business associate, I encourage you to admit the truth. Because what happens in the dark comes into the light. We're seeing that now with these files that are being released. We're seeing that now with the entertainment industry. We are seeing that play out. And if you go to someone before they know, before they figure it out, before it's exposed, it's so much easier for them to forgive you and for you to wipe some of that karma away, to get rid of some of that sin. But if it comes to a point that it is exposed against your will and you are the perpetrator of that violent, destructive, traumatic abuse, you will regret it, because it is coming to the light. It is going to be exposed. And pretty soon, you're not going to have a choice anymore.